I was invited out to Georgia to test out a brand new track-focused Cadillac. We're talking a derivative of the Ct5-V Blackwing. This is the Precision Package, designed, developed, engineered to drop lap times by the seconds. Created by an engineering team wanting to push the envelopes to chase an even faster lap time. I'm curious to find out how it stacks up against the previous Ct5-V Blackwing of years prior. Will it be worth the six-figure price tag, and how much further can you push a car that's using the same amount of horsepower?
So when I first heard they were making a more track-focused Cadillac Ct5-V Blackwing, at first I didn't know what to expect. I've tracked the Blackwing before on great tracks such as Chuckwalla Raceway. How could they improve it even more? It's got 668 horsepower with a 6.2 liter supercharged V8. It sounds incredible. You get a manual transmission, and thinking about it, what other competitors in its class can give you a manual transmission? So I thought it was checking all the boxes initially, but when you consider a team like Cadillac with their V-Series department trying to find ways to polish out an already fun experience, that is what intrigued me. So I had to come out. Today we are at AMP, Atlanta Motorsports Park, and I'm gonna get behind the wheel on the racetrack to see how it comes together. This is actually a private club, and around me we can see like homes alongside the track, similar to Thermal Raceway, where we were just at doing our recent track battles and tests a couple months ago. Here's the deal. The Precision Package is all about the independent, gritty stuff that us track-going enthusiasts really like to talk about. That is camber, also spring rates, stiffness, and more. So with this vehicle, you can be track ready and come out here with north of -2 degrees of camber. They've really increased the spring rates. So for example, they're 70% more stiff up front and 60% out back. And the team really is proud about talking about how towards the rear end, their new rear cradle bushing is 1,000% stronger. But let's put those performance upgrades on pause for now until we drive on track. I want to quickly talk about what's changed towards the front end of this vehicle. You have a redesigned front fascia, and as you can tell right here, it looks really aggressive with the widened, blacked out middle grille. You can get an optional carbon fiber package. I love seeing all the exposed carbon fiber bits. We talked to the engineers, and they were showing us photos of the wind tunnel testing and more, where they really spent a lot of time developing how the airflow interacts with the entire chassis. Brake cooling is very important. You have carbon ceramic rotors with this car, so the heat dissipation will be even better than with standard iron brakes. I'm very excited to see how it comes together. You also have new signature stacked LED lights that are from Cadillac with their newer models coming out. You get the choreographed walkaway and entry lights, so that's a cool thing to flex with. Another neat upgrade you get is that with the Blackwing package itself, you're not only getting the upgraded front Brembo brakes, but the rear Brembos. Well, there are rear Brembos. The standard Ct5-V V-Series doesn't come with rear Brembo brakes, so I think for coming to the track, braking is one of the most critical and most important things. It's a must, in my opinion. Let's keep moving all the way back. So finally, walking all the way out back, you have the same quad trapezoid exhaust pipes. I really do like all the extra carbon fiber. I'm curious because with the stiffer suspension settings, I'm guessing the rear end is going to feel more stable, because typically when you have looser spring rates and you go to stiffer spring rates, you're going to get more of that initial transfer, and I think it'll help with shifting weight more effectively for precise inputs. We're going to find out, though. We're definitely going to find out. Anyways, let me get inside and start up for you. All right, getting inside the Cadillac Ct5-V Blackwing. As with the standard Ct5, the interior will be pretty much the same. If you haven't seen my 2025 Ct5-V review, I'll have it linked on top of the screen right now, floating. What's basically new is the technology, the processing speed, and the touchscreen capabilities. It's impressive. This is a 33-inch color LCD display, and when you're looking at it, I mean, you don't really need to use your Apple CarPlays or your Android Autos, I don't think, because the standard built-in Google systems, it's pretty amazing. This whole screen, if I turn it on right now, everything turns into a map. So it's all integrated beautifully with the built-in Google interface. I want to comment about the PDR. The PDR system has been completely revamped. We've been hearing from individuals from the Cosworth team who developed PDR. There's a ton of stuff that is dedicated specifically for this car. And it's more so focused on bettering your lap times with speed tips, delta markers, and more. When you're driving, it's actually going to be telling you on this right side of this display a lap time delta if you're, let's say, faster, so it'll be minus 5.5 seconds or plus 0.5 seconds. Well, when it's doing that, it's telling you that you're quicker or slower. Well, anyways, sometimes it's hard to see if it's a negative or positive number. This on the display will turn green or red, just like some of those portable track systems you can put in your car. It's pretty cool. So right here you can hit the start button, and when you hit record, this is dash cam mode off, so you can leave it always rolling, but you can select different tracks or learn a track where you can come to the vehicle, get ready to go in the morning, drive out on track, save it, and then you're good to go. It's really cool. All the different controls. This display is extremely quick. You have all your AC controls built in to the center screen. Going back to the maps and stuff, just look at this. Look how responsive this display is. Going over here, here's your Sirius XM, your different broken down box view. Moving to the hotspot, you have hotspot, but then look at this, my favorite page. You have live readouts for your power, your horsepower output, your torque output, and your boost with the supercharger. You can even change these up if I go down. Right here, this is going to show us if I hit the power. It's not doing it yet, you have to drive it actually. Anyways, it'll give you a live readout, like a dyno graph of how much horsepower you're putting down. Finally, on this page, you can customize all your different independent pages for track driving. You can analyze your ELSD coupling, what it's outputting. Also on the right side, your G-force gauge, so this is nice. All the customization you've got. When I go into V mode, so with V mode, obviously you have that track focus center gauge. You have all the important indicators you're looking for, like coolant, engine coolant, also oil pressure, also temps. Moving to the right, you can customize your favorite settings for the track. We're just going to drive in Sport 1. That's what they really want you to be in. Then when you're on a track day yourself and you want to really push the limits, you can go to Race 1, Race 2. I guess we can explore these later on. Launch control is activated right here in the bottom left of the display. Click this one time and match the conditions, and it'll let you control your RPM and your slip, your optimal slip that you're looking for to maintain a proper launch control depending on which surface conditions you're driving on.
Well, that's going to wrap up our interior walk around. Let's give it a few revs and then get on the track.
Here we go, getting a feel for the new Cadillac Ct5-V Blackwing. Very excited about this. Team has been fantastic out here today. Let's get a feel for it. Let's get that AC off too. Slight trail. I'm gonna stay in third gear here because there's so much low end torque. Let's just see if we can carry that power out a bit better. Oh yeah. Third gear works great right there. Trail braking it in, late turn in, full power all the way out. Woohoo! This thing is fun! Trailing it in. Slight brake, get on power right about now before the dip. A little bit late on the brakes right there. Wow. Late turn in, power. up on the curbing. There we go, brake hard. Riding third gear. Woo! Would be a bit gentler in the turning right here, so I can really get on powering the whole way out. Trailing it in. There we go. Wow. Braking in. There we go, power all out.
This thing is fast. It's crazy how a four-door Cadillac could drive like that with a manual transmission. There's something about this experience that you don't really find much anywhere else anymore. Times are changing. Actually, let's get out of the car and let's talk with one of the engineers about what went into developing this track special. So we're with the chief engineer for the Ct5-V Blackwing, Alex. How's it going? It's great to see you. Now, I first met him a couple of years ago when he was part of the Corvette team, but it's great seeing him part of the Cadillac team because what they're doing with this vehicle behind me, it is unique. But I did want to ask Alex a few things regarding how they recalibrated like the subsystems for the vehicle. I think let's start there, if you don't mind. I know with the Cut2Rs, that's a whole different level of grip. How did you guys go about tuning everything to handle the more high-speed cornering Gs?
So there's two important parts when you do a cup tire in a car. Number one, the cup tire, if you put the tire on a chassis that's not ready for it, you wind up overwhelming the chassis with the tire. So you get to the end of the suspension travel, you hit jounce bumpers, it's just uncoordinated. So the first thing we did was we addressed what the chassis needs to work with the cup tire. That results in stiffer springs, stiffer bushings, sometimes like 1,000% stiffer, I mean significant changes to the chassis. And added camber settings via changes to the knuckle and a new rear toe link. So all those come together to work fundamentally with the chassis from a hardware standpoint. And then once you get that hardware, you could have that hardware on a car that you built yourself, but you can never have the calibrations to go with it without a team of integration engineers that we had work on this car to redo the ELSD, performance traction, ABS, MR, steering. All those calibrations have been overhauled for the new chassis components and for the cup tire.
Did you guys know from the beginning that we wanted to put on Cut2Rs for this new version?
The spark for the car was when we started working on some SCCA packages, and we had really high grip tires from a number of brands that showed well on the sedan packages. And so the Cup 2, we have a great relationship with Michelin. They're a strong partner. These Cup 2 sizes were ready for the car on the shelf. So it was a natural partnership. It's an incredible tire. I don't think there's anything better. So the point of looking elsewhere didn't really make sense.
No, I totally understand why, because I did buy the C8 Z06 with the Z07 package, and the grip they get with those tires is crazy.
It's great.
But I do want to ask you, when it comes to getting these cars ready for the track, camber is a big thing, right? How much more camber can you get out of this car? And like, for example, today, do you know what we were running on track?
The specific settings, I don't know. What we did is we added 3/4 of a degree in the front and 1 degree in the rear. So that's what the added mechanical components allow you to do, is to increase from our Blackwing track camber settings. Precision package has 3/4 degree more in the front and a degree more in the rear.
Yeah, and I know for a fact, us track-going enthusiasts, being able to adjust like that for each track, especially for tire wear too,
Right.
not only lap times, but that really helps to maximize how long you can go and
Yep,
have fun.
and it's part of accommodating the Cup tire. The Cup tire likes some camber, likes more camber than the PS4S.
Yeah.
Just because of the grip it's developing. 10 millimeters wider in the front, they're 285, and then the standard size in the rear.
And I've one final question for you too. I know we're talking a lot about how the rear cradle bushing is 1,000 times stronger,
1,000%.
or 1,000%.
Yep.
So how exactly would you say you can quantify that behind the wheel versus driving back to back with the standard Blackwing? Like, I know on track, the whole rear end just felt very stable. I felt the increased stiffness, so you have less chassis roll, less body roll, and I felt more confident. But is there a better way to explain like what exactly that does for the average viewer?
Yeah, for sure. So I like to focus on that bushing. It's kind of a shock value. It's 1,000% stiffer. But there's, I don't know, dozens of bushings on the car that have been adjusted from where they were. That's the one that's the most significant change. But what you notice in the car, particularly interesting, is that steering, the way you feel the steering, and I'm not talking at the limit, just turn in and the steering feel, a lot of that is dictated by how precise the rear of the car is. So when we stiffen the bushings in the rear of the car, along with the changes in the front, that has a huge effect on steering before you even get to the track. And then when you get to the track, when you do ABS braking, especially like out here where we've got a set of S's that you're braking across the apexes, the cradle that's attached by those bushings is so much more exactly located to the car that you don't have any steer effects as the wheels slip and go over curbs. It's really solidly locked into the car, and you feel that as a stability and the name is good, a precise way to place the car in the corner.
Has the team adjusted like the slip angle you can get with the vehicle in Race 2, for example, to accommodate those increased performance tires?
Race 2 was retuned. A lot of that is that the car just operates in a different regime of lateral acceleration than it does with the PS4S. So you're just opening the envelope, and we need to fill in what happens out there. We don't control slip angle. That's not a target for PTM. We control longitudinal wheel slip, which results in a slip angle. And I would say our targets for the amount of slip angle maybe grew a little, but the bigger changes were about managing the lower amount of drive slip that a Cup tire wants versus a PS4S.
Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for taking the time to answer my quick questions. I'm a geek about this kind of stuff. And it's exciting talking to someone like Alex, who's directly involved with such a cool role, by the way. So thanks for having me out.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Well, that concludes my first drive test in the new Cadillac Ct5-V Blackwing Precision Package. Let me know, what do you think based off watching this video? Obviously, when you polish out an already fantastic car, the experience gets even better. That's the best way I can sum it up. It's quite obvious. It feels more stable, it feels more intuitive, and balanced for the racetrack. Is that your cup of tea? Then maybe you should consider a sip of precision. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like button. It really does help me out. And subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. While you do that, hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the new videos coming out. I'll see you in the next episode.